friends, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to do my monthly book haul. These are the books that I have purchased in the month of April. First three books that I'm going to show you, I actually have already kind of hauled them on this channel in my book exchange vlog. I got the Illuminae book finally, the Illuminae Files #1, and this is by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I don't believe I've read anything by either of these authors, but this is that sci-fi book that everybody seems to love. It has the really cool cover that you've seen like a bazillion times. I can't believe that I found this book there, but it's told in like different files and like stuff like that. I've heard that the audiobook is really good, and I picked this up for $9.50. So I figured I would give it a go because I heard the audiobook is really good. Don't know if I'll continue on. I'm not that much of a sci-fi person, but I like to have one in my back pocket in case I am in the mood, and I saw this for a really good price and I picked it up. The next book that I picked up on that same trip is Marlena by Julie Buntin, and I saw someone recently unhaul this, and I don't know if it's because they read it and disliked it or they just had it on their shelf for a really long time. The cover is what initially drew me into this book, and then when I saw it was a book of the month book, I was like, yeah, I'll pick it up. So this is a March 2017 book pick. I got it for $13 at the book exchange, and it's about two friends, and one's kind of wild and the other one is not. 15-year-old Kat's new town in rural Michigan is lonely and off kilter until she meets her neighbor, the manic, beautiful, pill-popping Marlena. And then the last book that I got on that trip is The Real Michael Swan, and this is about a husband and a wife. I got this for $13 as well, and this is an adult thriller novel, basically, or mystery thriller, something along those lines novel. The wife calls the husband, or the husband calls the wife. I guess he's at Union Station and a bomb goes off, and then she's really worried about him and she can't get in contact with him, so she goes there and he's missing. And then just like all this weird stuff starts happening. Really still alive? Is he not? Did he survive the explosion? What was he doing when their last call was cut off? Was he or is he still the man she fell in love with? So part family drama, part tragic love story, and part disaster narrative that hits terrifyingly close to the heart. So I'm really interested in that one. And this is another book that I recently saw someone unhaul or like say it wasn't that good. So I don't know. And I believe I shared this on my Instagram stories that I went to Barnes & Noble and I got two books. I got The Lovely Wife by Samantha Downing because I've heard multiple people talk about this book and how amazing it is. Books and Lala, Gabby reads, and it just sounds really good. And when I heard great things about it and I was going to put it on my Amazon wish list, I started reading the preview, and the preview was quite long. It may have been the entire book. I don't know if that was an accident or if things were left out, but I kept reading and reading and reading, and then like once I went and bought it, I was like, I need to stop reading it in this preview and just like read the actual book. So I have this one. It's like a Dexter meets Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Basically, the guy finds people for his wife to kill. And then this one is another cover by, I just went into the adult section. The cover, oh my gosh, it's called The Lost Nights by Andrea Bartz, and this is a debut novel, so obviously don't know much about this author. It just says what really happened to the night Edie died, and I was saying Eddie, but it's really Edie, and it's two like chicks. I thought it was a guy. So basically there's like this group of friends and one of them dies, and then a decade later Lindsay's come a long way from the drug-addled world of Calhoun Lofts. She has devoted friends, a cozy apartment, a thriving career as a magazine's head fact checker, but when a chance reunion leads Lindsay to discover an unsettling video from that hazy night, she starts to wonder if Edie was actually murdered, and worse, if she was involved herself. So it's kind of like something happened, you think it's been solved, and then you go back and there's more facts that are coming to light. So it sounded really interesting, and this cover is so trippy and gorgeous. Then I went to Target and I finally picked up Pillow Thoughts 2 by Courtney Peppernell. I raved and raved about Pillow Thoughts of Volume 1 by Courtney Peppernell, and a lot of you guys actually ended up picking up that volume because of me, and I think that's amazing because it was awesome. I think it was just another perfect place, perfect time, I needed it type thing. And then and I was like raving like, oh my gosh, volume 2 is coming out soon, and I just have not picked it up because I wasn't really buying that many books. But I finally saw it again in the stores and I was like, okay, I'm finally gonna pick it up, and I'm just so excited. The first one was set up into different chapters, like read this if you need this. So this one has the same table of thoughts, and it's if your heart is in love, if your heart is aching, if your heart is missing someone, if your heart is happy, these are for your heart. And it also has like little illustrations at the beginning of the chapters. I'm so excited to have volume 2. So this will be a pretty quick read, I think, and I'll probably do a review of this one since I did a review of the first one. So let me know if you're interested in my thoughts. And then I randomly picked this one up as Target as well. It's one of their Target club picks, and it's Conversations with Friends, and I just loved the yellow cover. I think that's what drew me in, and plus like the illustrations of the ladies like on the side. Frances is a cool-headed and darkly observant young woman vaguely pursuing a career in writing while studying in Dublin. Her best friend is the beautiful and endlessly self-possessed Bobby. At a local poetry performance one night, they meet a well-known photographer, and as the girls are then gradually drawn into her world, Frances is reluctantly impressed by the older woman's sophisticated home and handsome husband, Nick. But however amusing Frances and Nick's flirtations seem at first, it begins to give way to a strange and then painful intimacy. So that sounds amazing. And so, like I said, cover drew me in, the yellow cover, read the back. I was like, yes. The last couple of books that I have to share with you are all from Amazon. 2 are pre-orders, and then 2 are just like books that I've been wanting for a while. So the first one is this Discovering Your Personality Type, and this is all about the Enneagram, so the Riso Hudson Enneagram Type Indicator. And the reason why I picked this one up is it doesn't go too much into detail about the different types and stuff like that. And the reason why I didn't get one like that is because I never knew what my type was. I remember I know like the original test is like this hugely long test, like over 100 questions. And I've taken like the 20 question tests like you can get for free or whatever, but I never remember my type. But I've been kind of more interested in it lately, and I picked this one up because it has the test in it, and it actually has the version 2.5 test, and it's 144 questions. So when I got this in the mail, I had a chiropractor appointment that day, so I just brought it with me and then took a pencil and filled out the test. And then when I got home, I finished filling out the test, and I found out that I am a type 6, which is the loyalist, and it's also called the troubleshooter. So it says engaging, responsible, anxious, and suspicious. And after you take the test, it does kind of dive a little bit into the different types and stuff like that. Everything I read was so spot on. It was like mind-blowing. So I'm hoping to get a couple of other books that will go more into my type and like start studying my type and stuff like that. So I got that so I could officially take a like published test and see what type I was, and I'm a type 6. If you follow like the Enneagrams and stuff like that, let me know what type you are down in the description box, and also let me know if you've done any like studying about your specific type. Next book that I got is Verity by Colleen Hoover. You guys know I love Colleen Hoover. All of her books are over here. Not all of them, all of the ones that I own. Verity though really stuck out to me because it was a thriller book by Colleen Hoover, and I know Colleen Hoover mainly writes like new adult contemporary romance. She has done some hard-hitting contemporary stories, and those have really been good. I fell in love with this book. I've already read it. Spoiler alert for my wrap-up. But oh my gosh, this book is so good. I would say that if you've never read Colleen Hoover before and you've just been like distancing yourself because of the romance aspects of her books, or you've read her romance books before and you really don't like romance that much, pick this one up. It's so good. It's so creepy. It will keep you on the edge of your seat, and I highly recommend this. And the last two books that I got, I pre-ordered, so they came in, I think, like a day after the release date. So the first one I got is How to Make Friends with the Dark by Kathleen Glasgow. This is the author of Girl in Pieces, which I absolutely loved. I think I did a full review of that book actually, and I remember it so well, like all the things that it did good about it, and it just, the characters, even the side characters, were like totally fleshed out. I loved that book so much, and I had to get her next book. So this is her second book, How to Make Friends with the Dark, and it deals with hard-hitting topics like death and depression and like stuff like that. So here's what happens when your mother dies. It's the brightest day of summer and it's dark outside. It's dark in your house, dark in your room, dark in your heart. You feel like the darkness is going to split you apart. And so I'm just really excited about this one. And again, the cover is absolutely gorgeous. And the last book that came in yesterday is Serious Moonlight by Jen Bennett. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I absolutely love Jen Bennett. Okay, so I've read The Anatomical Shape of a Heart, Alex Approximately, Starry Eyes, and I think I've rated all of them 5 stars. I just started reading Serious Moonlight last night. I'm currently on page 68, so this will be probably the last book in my April reading month, so stay tuned for my full thoughts about this. But so far I'm enjoying it, so no surprise there. But those are the books that I bought in April. Like I said, they're from a variety of places. I just pick up books from time to time, and I'm kind of loving it because it's really sparking me to like pick up more books. I was kind of in a slump, I think, even though I didn't like feel like I was in a slump. I was just reading like 1 to 2 books a month, and the last couple months I've read like more than that, so that's great. But anyway, that's all for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye!